For the third straight game in this series, starting pitching has dominated. Last night, Gio Gonzalez got back on track, shutting down the Blue Jays bats with 9 strikeouts in 8 innings, finally getting that elusive 10th victory. But over the past 2 weeks, it's been the bat of Josh Willingham that has won over the green and gold faithful, getting timely hits and launching 6 big flies over that span. Josh and the A's look to end the 10-game homestand strong. It's the series finale. A's-Jays next. Sunday afternoon baseball from the O.Co Coliseum. It is also the homestand finale for the Athletics. Guillermo Moscoso is going to try to get the A's a series win. And that's a red-hot hitter right there, folks. That is Josh Willingham. So the A's, a win. They take 3 out of 4 from the Blue Jays. It's the Jays and the A's coming up on Comcast Sportsnet California. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Oakland A's Baseball. Along with Ray Fosse, I'm Glenn Kuiper. Guillermo Moscoso today. And a couple starts ago, Ray, he beat the Blue Jays in Toronto.
You know, the great thing about Moscoso, when he gets run support, which he did in that start against the Blue Jays, he uses his fastball, and as a result, you see a lot of fly ball outs. But he challenges hitters, and that's basically his philosophy. Now he's added a cut fastball. He also has a very good curveball and a changeup. Mixes his pitches very well. But I'm definitely impressed with the way he has come up early in the season. Against the Angels, pitched well. He has now won 6 ball games for the Athletics, and this is for someone who was not a starter before joining the Athletics. So a remarkable job by Moscoso. Let's hope it continues today.
Josh Willingham is red hot right now. Ray's got 9 home runs in his last 21 games, and as it turns out, he's putting up some big numbers this year.
You know, as he told us last night, it does not matter whether it's a left-hander or a right-hander. He does not change his approach. How about a big double against Simone over the head of the left field? It kind of fooled him on the afternoon ball game, but against the Blue Jays, he's been swinging the bat extremely well, especially against the lefties. Another lefty in the lineup today starting for the Blue Jays. But I thought last night very impressive. A 10-pitch at bat against a lefty, fastball inside, and you can see the reaction of the pitcher as he left it up. He hit it out. And no doubter, a 2-run pinch hit home run to help the A's score 3 runs with 2 outs late in the ball game. So Josh Willingham, yeah, I think the A's would like to sign him. It'd be very nice to have him line up permanently here at the Coliseum.
So the A's have won 4 out of 5, and they're looking some momentum before heading out on their very tough upcoming 10-day road trip. We'll have lineups of first pitch when we come back. It's the A's and the Blue Jays coming up.
Baseball on Comcast Sportsnet California is brought to you by AT&T and by Toyota. Check out the great deals at your local Toyota dealer today.
Welcome back to the Coliseum. It's the Blue Jays and the Athletics wrapping up this series and the homestand. Youngsters taking the field with the Athletics like they always do on Sunday home games. And they are heading off. And we are just moments away from first pitch. Guillermo Moscoso is yet to take the mound, but he will do that soon. Let's check out the game time weather. It's brought to you by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. Get to the beach. The admission-free boardwalk is open daily. 69 degrees. We have not seen a lot of the sun just yet, but hopefully it'll clear off and we'll get a little sunshine this afternoon. But it's a very comfortable afternoon at the ballpark. Umpires heading out to home plate, about to exchange the lineup cards. Still no Guillermo Moscoso, so he's getting himself ready in the dugout.
It's 107. First pitch is about right now. He will not take him. Of course, the umpire is getting out right at the 107 mark, which normally that is the time. I think he is. Yeah, was waiting for the umpires to stand off to the side so he can take his warm-up tosses.
Well, the Blue Jays won on Thursday night 7-0. The A's bounced back on Friday night, won 2-0. And the A's won last night 5-1. So a win this afternoon, and the A's will take 3 out of 4 from the Blue Jays, and they will also secure the season series win before heading out on the trip. So Moscoso now indeed heads to the mound. He starts his warm-up tosses. Let's take a look at the Blue Jays lineup. There it is. And there it is. Aaron Hill will lead off, so he slides up to the leadoff spot today. Thames in left, Bautista in right, Encarnacion at first, Rasmus in center, Laurie at third. Tehan is the DH. Then it's Aaron Sebia and McDonald down on the bottom.
And Guillermo Moscoso pitching for the Athletics, and he has won his last 3 of his last 4, and one of those wins came against the Blue Jays in Toronto, and the A's had a couple of big crooked number innings. They had a 6 spot and a 4 spot. It helped Moscoso score early and take advantage of those runs 6 of the 3rd inning. And of course the A's scored 10 in the game and he won. But as we mentioned in our open, he throws his fastball when he gets run support, and the A's hope to do that again today against Luis Perez, left-hander pitching for the Blue Jays.
Behind Moscoso this afternoon, the A's will have Willingham in left, Crispin center, Jackson in right, Sizemore third, Pennington at short, Weeks at second, Allen at first, and Kurt Suzuki is behind home plate. Well, Moscoso, that start against the Blue Jays was 2 starts ago. His last start, he beat the Orioles, so he's working on back-to-back wins and trying to get over the 500 mark. So Aaron Hill digs in. That gentleman, Jose Bautista, back in the lineup this afternoon after missing last night with stiff neck. And he's back in there.
The best part of last night was when he put the bat back in the bat rack.
Yeah, he got a bat in his hand, and that's not what we wanted to see. But first pitch of the ball game to Aaron Hill is a fastball right there for a strike.
First pitch.
Hill, Thames, Bautista, the top 3 in the Blue Jays lineup. Blue Jays are 64-62. And they are wrapping up this road trip. They will head home and start a 6-game, make that a 7-game homestand. That one's ripped to left center field, and that's going to get down for a base hit. So Aaron Hill with a leadoff single.
Yeah, the Dodge Charger keys to the game. Pitching has ruled in the series, and let's hope Moscoso is the next one to have success on the mound. And for Allen Weeks, right side of the infield, the rookie is looking very good for the Athletics, and I doubt they're going to get a chance to play together for the rest of the season, and we hope for many seasons to come. It's because they're young, they're good, and that's what the A's are looking for.
First pitch to Thames is up and away. Thames hitting .272 with 8 homers, 27 runs batted in. 3 for 11 in this series. He has scored a couple of runs. Swing and a miss. Runner at first, Hill, is a base stealing threat. He's 16 for 18 in steals.
With Escobar out on the lineup today, a day off. John Farrell's changed the lineup a bit, having Hill, instead of hitting the bottom of the order, hitting lead off.
First year for the Blue Jays.
And, you know, it's got to be hard. It's thinking about just watching a pitching coach and pitcher become a manager. And the thing that John Farrell did the last 4 years as a pitching coach for the Red Sox, he dealt with strictly the pitchers. And some would say that your manager, you deal with everybody. He's done an exceptional job considering it's the first year as a former pitching coach.
Runner goes, popped to shallow left. Willingham still coming in, and he's going to get there, and he makes the catch. So that's out number 1.
Again, a straight steal, not a hit and run count, as 2 strikes on Thames, so he had to make contact. And at least for the pitch and strike zone, I guess you could look at it as somewhat of a hit and run with Hill running, but he was running with his head down, then heard contact and picked up the baseball and knew that probably going to be caught. It was by Willingham. Takes off from first, looking back to the hitter, and then its indication is hit and run, and if it's a swing and a miss, he's going to be thrown out by plenty. So Hill with good speed, Skype said, a good base running threat on the move.
So Bautista steps in. 2 for 5 in this series is Bautista. As we said, missed last night. He has walked 4 times.
I guess if you want to get comfortable facing a power hitter, throw to first base a few times.
Get yourself ready. Breaking ball down and away to Bautista.
The thing about Bautista, you look at, we've talked about guys who hit home runs, and even Aaron Sebia, the catcher, is hitting .212 starting play today with 19 home runs. You figure if a power hitter, he's going to strike out a lot, make a lot of outs. He's going to hit home runs. Bautista's a complete package. 300 plus batting average with 35 home runs and the walks, good on base percentage. So everything works well for him.
102 walks. That's the most in the American League.
Pretty impressive.
That is.
Yeah, it's
78 strikeouts, which is not a super high amount for a power hitter.
Especially if somebody swings as hard as he does with 2 strikes.
Just missed. Very close pitch.
I think we've seen in this series that Bautista did not play last night, but this is the 3rd of the 4-game series. But I think he's all of a sudden established a reputation that if he takes a close pitch, that he thinks it's a ball and it's going to be called a ball.
Umpires today. Pat Tishner is calling balls and strikes. Estabrook at first, Gibson at second, Davis at third. And now 3-1.
Well, Hill ran with Thames at the plate, but with Bautista, he is not at this point considering running. As we say with a power hitter, runner at first base is in scoring position.
Swing there by Bautista, fouls it up over our head, just to our right. So full count. Encarnacion waiting in the on-deck circle.
Well, with Bautista's knowledge of the strike zone, ability to make contact, the fact to figure with 3 and 2 and 1 out, Hill will be running. Step off.
And he does take off, and the throw to Weeks is in time. Somehow they got Hill.
You know, there's a case of Bautista looking at first base but not seeing what was going on, because I'm sure everybody was screaming, as I was. Didn't hear me, but Weeks able to catch the ball, spin back, and get Hill, who went on pre-first move. Boy, just barely got him. And Greg Gibson, who has been involved in a lot of plays so far in this series. Wow.
Another pop-up foul.
Hill with a feet first slide, and the tag got him on the knee before the foot hit the bag, and it's hard to believe that Gibson could make the call, considering, well, there he might have had a decent look. And Hill trying to call timeout, thinking he was safe, but looked like the feet first line of the pop-up caught him with his foot above the bag.
Another foul ball by Bautista. And a nice play by that young man, Jamal Weeks.
With Moscoso standing there and not even indicating he's going to throw first or to home, yet Hill took off.
And Bautista's getting some pretty good hacks in here against Moscoso.
Ninth pitch coming up.
Way high. Takes the glove right off Kurt Suzuki.
Gonzalez first inning last night. Adam Lynn acting as a DH last night, and he was hit and got to go to the plate just one time. Being hit, he stayed in the game but was removed. And not hearing any results today as far as the x-rays, which I'm sure were taken. But he's not in the lineup, so Encarnacion is at first with T and DH.
A little bit high to Encarnacion, hitting .282 with 12 home runs and 39 runs batted in. A couple of hits and a couple of RBIs in this series. There's a strike on the outside corner. Bautista with just 6 steals on the year. Another foul ball. Lots of foul balls here in the top of the first inning.
A lot of that is Moscoso challenging the hitters like he did in the Thursday afternoon game in Toronto. But he had a big lead in that game, but still continuing that this afternoon, something maybe the Blue Jays remembering from that start, taking advantage of early swings.
High breaking ball. Encarnacion swings and misses, slams his bat down, and the Blue Jays do not score. of the A's lineup today. Weeks, Chris, Matsui, Willingham, Allen, Jackson, Pennington, Suzuki, and Sizemore.
Luis Perez, starter in the minor leagues, but his first major league appearance against the Athletics on the Thursday afternoon in Toronto. Gave up several unearned runs in the game, but good fastball, slider, and changeup. Goes out of a semi windup, semi stretch. I always like to see the relievers and what kind of they don't want to go in the stretch because that's indicating they are a reliever.
Weeks hitting .290 with no home runs and 23 runs batted in. Outside. So Luis Perez, just 26 years old. Perez signed as an undrafted free agent back in 2003. He's been with the Blue Jays his entire minor league career and now in the big leagues from the Dominican Republic. Not very good in that appearance against the A's in Toronto. It was the day game, the final game of that road trip. He was kind of all over the place. But getting a start today. Swing and a miss. Pretty good fastball there. So Week strikes out, and that's one out here in the bottom of the first.
Center fielder. Out on the outside corner, and pretty good pitch.
So Coco Chris steps in. Chris had a couple of hits last night, 2 for 4. Trying to break out of a little slump. Held that batting average pretty well most of the year, right in the 270, 275 area.
It's going to be interesting for Coco going back on the East Coast, especially against the Yankees and Red Sox. A couple of teams that have base stealing threats. Of course, Gardner with the Yankees and Jacoby Ellsbury with the Boston Red Sox. See how well he feels and how much he will be attempting to steal.
George McDonald, the shortstop. So 2 outs here in the bottom of the first defensively for the Blue Jays. Thames, Rasmussen, Bautista in the outfield. Laurie, McDonald, Encarnacion, and it's Aaron Hill. Not Dravic. Aaron Hill is the second baseman. Aaron Sevilla is the catcher. So 2 outs for Hideki Matsui. .265 the average for Matsui with 11 homers and 61 RBIs. Still holding that post All-Star break batting average, second best in the majors. .384 since the break. Only Troy Tulowitzki has hit better in the second half. Tulowitzki .394.
Did that last year too, didn't he? Down the stretch, hit a bunch of home runs in September, and ended up signing an extension on top of his already signed extension in the Rockies uniform for many years.
Napoli in there as well. No surprise with Michael Young and Dustin Pedroia. That covers 32 games since the break. That one past the pitcher, but picked up by McDonald. Flips to first, side retired. So Luis Perez has a 3 up, 3 down, bottom of the first inning. California is brought to you by Infineon Raceway. The Indy Grand Prix of Sonoma IZOD IndyCar Series returns to Sonoma August 26th through the 28th. Tickets at InfineonRaceway.com. Well, the sun is trying to come on out today. I'm holding out hope.
It will.
At some point.
The marine layer burns off. It's starting over the left field. Starting. And Mikey's going to shoot it in there. Rasmus very aggressive with his leg kick, and he's going to do a good job for the Blue Jays.
Rips this one foul.
You know, over the hill, it's nice and sunny.
Yep.
Yeah, it's already burned out over there.
0-2 to Colby Rasmus. Strike three call right there on 3 pitches. Rasmus strikes out. That's the 6th time in this series that he has struck out.
Well, maybe he can learn something from Bautista. He wants to and is a power hitter. But the knowledge of the strike zone would help, because that pitch a good one thrown by Moscoso to the outside part of the plate. Sneaky fastball, maybe looking for something else. There's the sunglasses.
Lowry takes a strike. Well, if I was a Blue Jays hitter, I would listen to everything Jose Bautista says.
Watch him, listen to him. Plus, he's going to be there several years, so might as well.
0-2 to Lowry. 3 for 10 in the series for young Blue Jays third baseman. Last night, the Blue Jays had just 1 hit in the final 6 innings. Now, they only had 4 hits in the game. Gio Gonzalez settled in, and it was a quiet back end of the game offensively for the Blue Jays.
Grant Balfour, as we saw last night, was not available. And Bob Melvin, with Gio on the mound, he saw him throw 25 pitches in the first inning. Then all of a sudden, he got through the next few innings with minimal amount of pitches, and he started doing his math and said, maybe he can give me 8. And of course, he started the 8th inning with just 85 pitches and threw 15 and got through it.
Crisp is under it.
But Gio did a very good job working with Landon Powell to the point of pitching inside. See Powell set up inside and got the good fastball in there, in addition to some very good curveballs the inside part of the plate. And against the lefties, the hook was working very well. And Gio, 9 strikeouts, 6 with a curveball, 3 with a fastball, and that's the pitch right there that's almost unhittable. And that was his last one of the game, the 100th pitch, a good curveball with a strikeout.
Mark Tian is the DH today. He takes the first pitch low.
You know, for Gio, that is the beginning of his, of course, remaining starts of pitching well. 115 last year. A bit of a tough time losing 5 consecutive starts, but pitched very well last night.
Well, 35 games left for the Athletics, so 7 more starts for Gio Gonzalez. So plenty of time to finish strong.
Now for Gio and for the entire ball club, especially to play as well as he did last night and have this homestand after the first 4 games of losses.
Outside corner, strike 3 called. Couple of strikeouts for Guillermo Moscoso. Willingham, the red hot. Josh Willingham's going to lead it off at the bottom of the 2nd.
treat you to a ball game. They're giving away A's MVP tickets and batting practice viewings all season long. Enter to win today at Ashby's Berkeley or Concord locations, or by emailing ashbylumber@oaklandathletics.com. Ashby Lumber for all your fencing and decking needs. It's a nice deal. Here comes the sun.
Yeah.
What are you asking? You shall receive.
Beautiful day. Bottom of the second inning, no score. Josh Willingham will lead it off, then Allen and Jackson. The A's facing a lot of lefties lately. The notes say for the A's, this is the 9th time in the last 14 games that they have faced a left-handed starting pitcher. And it sort of fits into Willingham's game because he's done very well against left-handed pitching. Bautista in right field is going to take care of this one, so Willingham is retired.
But it is amazing. 22 home runs, 12 coming against left-handed pitchers.
Now you're the fifth position. First baseman, number 31, Brandon.
The A's game over 500 against lefty starters. So Brandon Allen steps in. And Allen takes down and in. 11 for 27 with the Athletics. 286 overall. It's a strike.
Can you see? You want my glasses? Sun's out. It's coming out. And
what a teammate, huh? Encarnacion comes down the line. He's got it. Allen is retired. 2 outs.
Well, Bautista pointing to his eyes, asking Aaron Hill, can you see? If not, you want my glasses. But right field is not as bad as Marcus Ames as well. Because left field, if the sun comes out, you better have sunglasses on. I think Eric is hoping this is a quick inning so he can get back in without having to call time. Rasmus has his on. He used those same glasses to try to hit. Struck out, though, on 3 pitches.
So he's never not wanted a fly ball more than he does right now.
We're just praying for your request not to come true for another couple of minutes, and that is the sun come out. When it comes out, it will be hard on the left fielders, the left side of the infield.
Cue shot toward first. Encarnacion has it. And Luis Perez has retired the first 6 he has faced. We go to the third, no score. bring you the best in local sports. Third inning from the O.co Coliseum. Aaron Sebia to lead it off. Fastball strike on the inside corner. Aaron Sebia got the night off last night. Jose Molina was in the lineup. Aaron Sebia is 2 for 6 in the series.
Okay.
This one is just above us. Hit off the brick facing right above our heads.
That's a strong shot.
That's the closest we've got this year, I think.
But it didn't take an initial dive. This would have been right in between us. I would have been done. I know that. I've said it before, but every time I see that, Glenn Hubbard stand at the batting cage, and he said, if I ever get to hit one in the third deck of the Coliseum, I'll know I'm strong.
That's right. It is hard to do.
Yeah. And still with the Braves again. He's been with the Braves a long time, but we were happy to have him here. And well, what a jokester too. Be in the airports and do things to swim and flying commercial. And he'd do things that upset people. Be running. He'd have $1 attached to a string and pull it off the side.
The oldest trick in the book.
Exactly.
And it still works.
And players would sit around, and he'd be sitting there and doing that, and these people would be running for a flight, and they'd see $1 bill and they'd stop, try to pick it up, and he'd keep pulling it, and then get so upset because they missed their flight.
I think they're upset at themselves.
Well, of course, but they want to blame Glenn Hubbard. But Hubb was a fun guy, but also a very good player. The oldest trick in the book, you're right.
1-2 the count. Swing and a miss. Good breaking ball down and away. And that is 4 strikeouts already for Moscoso.
Well, the great thing about Moscoso, he is incorporating all of his pitches into the lineup of the Blue Jays. They are aggressive, as we have seen, with Rich Harden strike out 11 on Friday. Gio last night 9 and 4 already for Moscoso. Good breaking pitch. And Aaron Sebia aggressively swinging at a pitch out of the strike zone.
Facing John McDonald, and he drops a breaking ball in on the first pitch. 0-1. McDonald playing shortstop. Played second base last night.
I saw him briefly this morning heading over to the batting cage. I said, trying to turn 2 last night. The ball at the side. He said, of course. He just got a little bit of a bad hop, and the ball ended up in right field. And he's scored a run because of it.
Fastball there, swing and a miss by McDonald. McDonald hitting .255 with a couple of home runs, 20 RBIs. This is his 65th game. Very valuable, though. Brandon Allen backpedaling. Now Weeks coming over. And Weeks into foul territory makes the catch. So that's out number 2. Time now for our trivia question. It's brought to you by AT&T, who are the only 2 athletics to finish their careers with exactly 100 home runs.
It's not fair. A lot of guys have played for the A's. Not a lot of guys have hit home runs, though. But
that's a tough one.
It is. Not even going to attempt it.
No, it would just be nothing more than a feeble guess. So Aaron Hill takes outside. Hill led off the game with a base hit. Skies this one to right center, but Jackson is in and under it. He's got it inside, retired. So Moscoso is retired 7 in a row. No scores. We go to the bottom of the 3rd.
working Tuesdays, every Tuesday home game, with the exception of premium games and dual events with the arena. You'll pay nothing to park, courtesy of Chevy. See your Northern California Chevy dealer for a great selection of Chevy cars, trucks, and crossovers. For more information, visit OaklandAthletics.com/Tuesday.
No score, bottom of the third inning. Luis Perez has retired the first 6. So Perez, well, looks a lot different than the last time the A's saw him. He pitched in relief.
Came in way behind, and of course gave up the unearned runs when he did come in. Gave up the hits, but did not have a great defense behind him. A little bit different in the starting position today.
Pennington reaches for that one, hits it foul, back to the screen. So 0-2. Pennington hitting .259 with 5 home runs and 38 runs batted in. But it's foul.
Important thing for a right-handed hitter against the left-hander, and Josh Willingham talked about not changing his approach, and that is to keep the front shoulder to the point that you're not opening up. You open up, susceptible to any pitch outside. And it's amazing how strong the hitter's hands are. They can react and be quick on pitches inside, even if he is considering, or at least thinking, up the middle of the opposite field by keeping the front shoulder. If you fly open, pitchers are able to see that, and they'll nail the outside corner quickly.
Bouncer toward Hill, and that's out number 1. So Pennington's retired, and Kurt Suzuki will hit.
Now batting, Kurt Suzuki, catcher.
Kurt had the night off last night. Should be well rested. Landon Powell was behind the plate.
And with the exception of 5+ hour flight tomorrow, he should be rested for Tuesday night. He's off day. He's in a stretch of 28 of 29 days they're playing. The only off day is tomorrow, as they'll be traveling. I think as a result, the A's are playing very good baseball. Last road trip finished strongly. Lost the first 4, but have rebounded nicely since the first 4 games of this homestand.
A's overall have won 4 out of 5. They're 35 and 29 at home. And they hope to improve on that road record. Coming up, 22 and 40 on the road. Two 2-0 to Kurt Suzuki. And he takes a fastball in for a strike. 92 miles an hour from Luis Perez.
Perez threw only 19 pitches in the first 2 innings. Looks like the bottom part of the order, at least trying to see some pitches, maybe to get his pitch count up a little bit.
Well, he is making his first major league start after 29 relief appearances, so he's probably not going to be out there for 100 pitches. Pop up. Looks like it's playable for Encarnacion. He's got it, and that's out number 2.
Come out for the 13th annual Breast Cancer Awareness Day on Sunday, September the 4th. Over 500 cancer survivors will participate in the on-field ceremony, with all proceeds going to cancer research. 10,000 fans will receive an A's pink Argyle scarf. Our partner already has one. Today is presented by Big O Tires and is sponsored by Ross, Alta Bates, Bay Area News Group, Comerica, Good Neighbor Pharmacy, and State Heating System. For more information, go to oaklandathletics.com/BC. Is that home or are you having your bag?
My bag.
Okay. I don't think you're going to need it on the road trip. It's going to be nice and a little steamy in a couple of places. Although it's getting your favorite time of the season, that's football. So you start getting that fall feeling. That's
right.
Going to Cleveland, they're playing well. Today, though, they're trailing the Tigers. That's in Detroit. But normally this time of the year, the old Municipal Stadium was empty.
Except on
getting ready
September Sundays.
Getting ready for football. Cobwebs out of the seats from nobody sitting in them during baseball season, but a little different now. The Browns have their own stadium and the Indians have theirs. We'll see the next road trip.
So 9 up, 9 down for Luis Perez, scoreless after 3. Home runs. Randy Velarde and Bruce Bachti. Eric Thames to lead it off, top of the 4th inning. Thames hit a fly ball to left field in the 1st inning. Both pitchers sharp, Moscoso and Perez. Moscoso's got 4 strikeouts in 3 innings. He's given up just 1 hit. He's walked 1. The only hit that Moscoso has allowed was the leadoff single to Hill. Pops it up. Should be a play for Sizemore. Fighting that sun, he can't find it. Well, when you see a player from our vantage point, Ray, when they're looking up and they have the glasses on and you can see the glare coming off the glasses from up here, that means they're usually fighting it.
And these are not the flip down sunglasses, and he's using his glove, but watch him throw his hands up saying, I don't see it, and there's no help. Nobody can get to the ball. He's very alone, and there are the wraparound sunglasses that they offer the shade, but well, the flip downs have the maximum, not something like that. And I bet Eric Thames is thinking, sunglasses, I better take them out the next time. You don't get them on your eyes that quickly off the top of your cap. But right now, Brandon Allen doesn't need them.
Line drive right into the glove of Weeks.
Kurt Suzuki, the night off last night, and maybe that's a good sign because today he's taken a beating. Beating so far off the mask on that one. Lost his glove on a high fastball. And how about this one? Another one off the mask. He's wearing the helmet, which is the protection you need as a catcher, and the protection you can get. But those two shots prove that your neck better be strong. First of all, the neck has to hold the mask and the helmet. But you get shots off of your mask. I mean, it's essentially like somebody taking their fist and hitting you, except you are at least wearing a mask.
Swinging a miss by Bautista, and it's a quick 0-2.
But I am a believer of the mask that Kurt's wearing, and that's the old style with the padding around the face as much as possible. Said I never wore the hockey style mask, but what you're looking for as much padding as you can get, especially around your head. One day we can get our camera crew and just take a mask and lay it down on the ground and just see the amount of padding, you know, by comparisons of this style of mask, the wire mask versus the hockey style. As Dave Molina was wearing the hockey style mask last night, I think maybe Aaron Stevens is wearing it also. A mask that originated in Toronto with Charlie O'Brien.
See some umpires wearing the hockey mask.
Greg Gibson wears it. Greg Zahn, that's the old style. You can see the extension down, kind of protect the neck. Greg Zahn doing some radio work with Jerry Howarth. Blue Jays, I think, wore the hockey style mask. Alan Ashby and Buck Martinez on the TV side. So 3 catchers of the 4 broadcasting for the Blue Jays. And then there's Jerry.
Not a catcher.
Good guy.
This one's popped up. Center of the diamond. And it's going to be Allen. Allen had it in his sights the whole time, so he did not lose it in the sun. 2 outs.
Kurt Suzuki talking to Scott Sizemore. Fortunately, Allen came in because the last thing a catcher wants, Kurt's not wearing sunglasses, and Brandon Allen has his sunglasses over the bill of his cap, so not needing them at this point. But the great if he does.
So 2 outs for Encarnacion.
Maybe Sizemore was talking to Suzuki saying, I didn't see that one either.
No, he may not have. So 1-0 to Encarnacion, who struck out swinging in the first inning. This one's popped up on the infield. Weeks has it, and that will do it. So both pitchers rolling big time. No scores. We go to the bottom of the 4th.
Phillies, why not check out the A's Barbecue Terrace? The Barbecue Terrace includes a catered pregame meal and a game ticket in a private lower box seating area. For more information, call 510-638-GO-ACE or visit oaklandathletics.com/groups.
Weeks flips the first one to right field. Bautista comes into a slide, and he makes a nice play. He was playing shallow, and he got a good jump.
Well, how many times we talk about an outfield, in this case a right field with a right-handed hitter, not with a lot of power. Why play deep? You can rob him of a hit, and that's exactly what Bautista did. The Ultra showing him getting a good jump, going to the slide after he made the catch. But if he's playing a few steps back and breaks back at all, he's not going to get to the ball. But we have over probably the last 3 months seen outfielders play so shallow. It's just hope that the guy's able to get into a ball and drive it over their heads.
I mean, look how shallow they're playing for Coco Chris.
Yeah. Kind of bunching way off the lines, and I mean they're just there. So I mean there's a lot of space down the lines, but playing very shallow. And the key with a big swing is not break back. I mean, you have nothing else from an outfielder standpoint. Once a guy swings, just stand still until you decide how the ball has been hit. Unless you're Nolan Reimold, who against Josh Willingham let the ball fly over his head.
0-2 to Coco Crisp, who bounced out to short in the first inning. Matsui in the on-deck circle. 10 in a row retired by Luis Perez to start this ball game.
Nicknamed Cy Perez.
Yeah. A couple of strikeouts. This will be pitch number 39 for Perez. Did not get an actual pitch count that he may be on. Who knows?
Started in the minor leagues, of course, out of the bullpen for the Blue Jays. So probably it's one of those that you kind of watch him and you know you have a limit. And of course, John Farrell, as a former pitching coach, understands that. Bruce Walton is pitching coach, and they have a number in mind, but they'll just watch him. They have an off day tomorrow, so he's going to get plenty of time to recover, whether he stays in the rotation or not.
Coco bounces that one right at the home plate area.
I think this is the time of the year, and I know we talk about Adam Roden, the A's video coordinator, how great a job he does, but the A's on this next road trip, and then when they come back, you're going to have the September call-ups, and that's a time where teams are going to be facing pitchers, players they've not seen, and it's where Adam does such a great job making sure there's some sort of video reports on, especially the pitchers, so the hitters can see them. But a tough trip coming up for sure with New York, Boston, and Cleveland. All three teams trying to do something special in the divisions. And they come back, and who knows how many players will be with each team the remainder of the season. With the ability of the teams to increase the roster to 40.
So 3-2 to Coco Crisp. Hits it hard toward third. Laurie has it. And that's out number 2. Well, make sure you join us when the A's open up that long road trip. Yankee Stadium is the first stop. We'll have it for you at 3:30 A's pregame live. The ball game at 4. Brandon McCarthy and Bartolo Colon is the pitching matchup on Tuesday from Yankee Stadium. Home of the A's is Comcast Sportsnet California. Stretch it out a little bit. Yankees, Red Sox, Indians on the road. Then the A's will come home and take on the Seattle Mariners. So a 10-game road trip. We'll call it the Challenge.
Now, is A-Rod back yet?
he was in the lineup today, I believe.
Yeah. I heard he was going to be coming back the end of their road trip, which is in Minnesota. He's at Target Field, so.
Yeah, I think he was in there today.
Right.
0 for 4, so he was indeed in the lineup.
He's trying to win their 77th game, 3-0 lead in the 9th innings at Target Field. So with Mariano Rivera, probably a safe lead.
You would think. Juanoda, Hideki Matsui, he bounced just short in the first inning. Just jammed that pitch way inside. He fouled back. And the A's still looking for their first hit.
And or base runner.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Just a bit high with the fastball.
Now Bautista playing much deeper now with Matsui, left-handed hitter. So that's the difference of Weeks, a switch hitter, batting right-handed. You see Bautista out here. He's playing way in here with Jamal Weeks and able to rob Weeks of a base hit. But a very good outfielder is Bautista. Strong arm.
There's a strike.
They moved him to third base. He probably scared all the pitchers.
Yeah.
You know, throwing across the diamond, pitchers having to duck. With a strong arm.
He's best right where he's at because he's a good right fielder.
Remember when Reggie Smith, a great outfielder, many years with Red Sox and Dodgers, he was a catcher for a little while in minor leagues.
Was he really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Actually, when I played against him in the minor leagues, pitchers hated it. They couldn't get down quickly enough. He had a strong arm.
12 in a row retired by Luis Perez.
Sofa, best seat in the house. Oh, I didn't want to get up. I said, you know, we could probably do a game.
I was going to say,
on the sofa, on the couch.
Hey, not a terrible idea.
But it's very comfortable, and you know, it's probably, maybe you don't have a red sofa, but you know, when you watch our games on Comcast Sportsnet California, and you have a nice sofa, comfortable, you can watch the games, high definition, A's baseball, and all the other sports on Comcast.
Fifth inning of a pitcher's duel, 0-0 with Colby Rasmuth leading it on. He's quickly behind in the count, 0-2. Rasmuth struck out looking in the second inning. He's 3 for 12 in the series. He's got a home run. He's got a double. He has also struck out 6 times.
But he's got the leg kick, and any hitter that lifts the leg, he's committing, and he has to get the foot down. Rasmus a high leg kick, and with Moscoso that has that little rocking motion, you have to time it to make sure that you don't start the leg kick too quickly. Matsusaka, who Japanese-born pitcher for the Red Sox, of course injured, but he has a rocking about 3 times. At least Moscoso won, and then gets set and then throws. So it's all timing from the hitter standpoint. Moscoso a hit to the first batter, and then Aaron Hill on 3-2, kind of caught stealing, and a rare 1-4 put out. And Moscoso has, except for the walk to Bautista, has been perfect ever since. Kind of like the game against the Phillies and Worley, when Moscoso and Worley went head to head, no hitters through 5.
So 2-2 the count. Laurie will be next, and then Tehan. Strike 3 called, down around the knees. Rasmus disagrees with Todd Tischner.
I think both pitchers are really enjoying Todd Tischner behind the plate today. I mean, he's consistent. I mean, he's got a good strike zone. He started with hitter number 1, and basically saying to the guys, "Come on, swing. It's close enough. Why are you complaining about a pitch that I'm going to call a strike?" Ultramo, great stride right over the top. Moscoso, a good fastball outside corner, and heights wise, I bet Tommy Cam shows it right on the corner.
Laurie skies one. Pennington fighting the sun. He stays with it. He makes the catch. 2 outs. Here's our Subway Eat Fresh Ask Glenn and Ray question. Remember, you can log on to csncalifornia.com to post your question. Chris from Oakland asks, why don't more players slide into first base to beat the throw?
Because it takes too much time.
Now batting, number 20.
Think about it.
Mark
Roberto Alomar did it, but he only did it when it was a high throw and the first baseman had a chance to tag it. And we just heard that Roberto Alomar, and we talked about him last night with the Blue Jays, and that's a smart play. If you're running under control enough that as you're running, you see the first baseman reach up, and the only play he has is to tag you as a base runner, then you go into a slide.
That's hard to do too.
Well, it is, but Roberto Alomar could do it. But I think when we see guys slide head first into first base, you think of the time it takes you to start sliding head first, and when you hit the dirt, you're going to slow down by the time you get to the bag. Whereas running straight through, running and touching the bag in the front part of the bag, you're going to be much quicker.
I agree.
I mean, it's guys do it, but more times than not, you'll see them run through the bag and get to it much quicker. But Robbie was good. He did so many things so good, and that's why he's in the Hall of Fame. But if you think of Lou Brock, who had the stolen base record before Ricky Henderson, he was always a feet first slider, sliding into second base, and a little pop up, and he knew exactly where to slide. But Ricky was always able to slide head first and get into the bag.
Swing and a miss. Couple more strikeouts for Guillermo Moscoso. He's got 6. Bottom of the 5th coming up. Sportsnet California is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Come try the new Jumbo Breakfast Platter for just $2.99 plus tax at Jack in the Box. That's at participating restaurants. Well, as we hope, the sun has come out nice and bright. It's a beautiful day. No score, bottom of the 5th inning, just one hit in the game, and it was Aaron Hill leading off the game with a single. 12 up, 12 down for Luis Perez, the Blue Jays starter, as he faces Willingham, Allen, and Jackson. First pitch to Willingham is outside. Willingham hit a fly ball to right field, his first at bat. Bounce to the shortstop. In the hole is McDonald. He throws in time.
I think John Farrell's not thinking about Ricky Romero, Brett Cecil, and now Luis Perez. He's pitching 3 lefties. Bruce Walton, of course, is pitching coach, but
Now batting, first baseman.
John
number
Farrell,
31,
former pitching coach, now the manager. Don Wakamatsu is bench coach. Sure, Don had a nice 4-day weekend coming back home. Getting a chance to visit with the family.
First pitch to Brandon Allen is a fastball, inside corner strike. 17 balls and 34 strikes for Perez. Like he's been ahead of a good share of the hitters. That usually goes hand in hand, pitching well and being ahead of hitters. Breaking ball there for Allen to hit, and rolls it foul.
Well, last inning he had Crisp and Matsui both with the 3-2 counts. Other than that, today he's not had a 3-2 count or a 3-ball count. So as a result, the pitch count is good. 54th coming up here in the 5th inning. That's averaging about 10 so far. That's pretty good.
Allen fouls that one straight back. Allen popped out to Encarnacion in the 2nd inning. Drilled right field. Batista on the run, reaches up and makes the catch. Very nice play by Bautista. A line drive by Allen.
Well, he knows when to play shallow, when to play deep. He did it against Matsui, and with Brandon Allen getting into a breaking ball from the left-hander, Brandon thought maybe he had one over the head. He started to go into his circle around the bases, but Bautista, great jump, reached up, and a very good play by the 5-tool player. Basically, you're looking at one in Bautista. He can do it all, and he shows it in his outfield play, just like he can swing the bat.
Here's Connor Jackson. First pitch is a fastball up and away. Jackson hit a ground ball off the end of the bat toward first base to end the 2nd inning. So an ace hitter ahead in the count. It's 2-0. We've not seen that a lot today. To Connor Jackson.
Well, they got the wind blowing out in the view quarter in left field, blowing out from right to left. He had a right-handed batter, 3-0 count. Pull the trigger. View quarter, you see flags blowing a little bit towards left.
Strike call, didn't have to be. But today, it's a pretty good strike zone if you're a pitcher.
Todd Tichenor likes to pace the game, and so guess what? 3-0. If you're not swinging, I'm going to call it anyway.
That one a pretty good pitch to hit. Ron Friesen, one of our very fine cameramen, no problem. Unfazed, just reached out, made the play.
Made a fan happy.
Watch this, just simple. I got it. 2 hands.
He's got some big hands too. So
he did.
Like he had a mitt on his hand.
You do not mess with Ron Friesen. Strike 3 call. Jackson drops his bat. He disagrees, but it is 15 up and 15 down for Luis Perez. We rank the top 64, and now it's up to you to vote for your favorites through our bracket style tourney. CSNCalifornia.com. It's your interactive home for A's baseball all season long. Reggie will probably work his way through the bracket. Ray Fosse's in the 64 team field. I don't know who your first round matchup is, but that's always important. Swing and a miss by J.P. Arancibia. He'll be followed by John McDonald, Aaron Hill. 6 strikeouts, 1 walk, 1 hit allowed for Moscoso.
70 pitches.
It's hard to imagine saying what he has done through the first 5 innings and then say he's being outpitched.
Exactly.
Luis Perez has gone 15 up and 15 down.
And the great thing about it, he is matching Perez. And you know, you talked about Moscoso getting run support and how he pitches and using the fastball, but today he has not had the run support because of this guy on the right, Perez, who is perfect through 5. So Moscoso, as a result, is using all of his pitches, including a very good curveball. He has a couple of strikeouts.
Hit well to center field. Coco's racing back, still going back, and he missed it. And Arancibia is going to have a double. If it is a double, we'll see what the ruling is, but Coco got a glove on it, could not haul it in. It's going to be a double.
Well, it is a catchable ball, there's no doubt. A hanging curveball. Arancibia struck out on the curveball in the dirt his first at bat, but a ball straight back. Coco went back on it well. Did it knuckle on him right there as he reached up and really had it off his glove, and he just did not look the ball into his big glove, and maybe at that point assumed it was going to go in. Although I don't think he took his eye off the ball. He just put the glove up where the ball was coming, and I think that's a gift double.
So here's McDonald, the 9th place hitter.
And Johnny Mac's going to be bunting. And they want to get the runner at third. Less than 2 outs. Well, 2 pitchers pitching head to head and pitching great. It's usually a mistake that helps one or the other to take advantage. And right now it's up to Moscoso to try to keep the Blue Jays from scoring.
Corner infielders come in, but McDonald is not bunting. He pops it up. Weeks coming together with Jackson, and it'll be Connor Jackson who's got it. Tagging up is Aaron Sebia, but he heads back. He stumbled a little bit. I don't know if he had intentions of continuing on to third.
He'd have been out.
He would have been out. Yeah.
So I think it was a fake all the way. The ball was not hit that deep, and Aaron Sebia doesn't run that well. But good idea. Connor Jackson calling off Jamal Weeks, setting himself up to throw, knowing or at least thinking that Aaron Sebia might be tagging.
Now batting.
And Scott Sizemore, good job going up the ladder as Moscoso is backing up, and he was so fast his feet come off the line. But really shocked that John McDonald was not running or not bunting on the pitch. Was trying to hit the ball to the right side, and maybe the fact that Allen was breathing down his neck at first base, that he did not want to take a chance of maybe having a bunt and getting the out at third base.
So here's Aaron Hill, the leadoff man. Well, it's the manager's dilemma. Do you give up the out to get the guy to third with 1 out, or do you say, listen, I want to give 3 hitters a crack at driving him in? It's not an easy decision to make.
Except the first hitter, in essence, is not trying to drive him in because he's just trying to hit the ball to the right side. So I agree with what you're saying, but sometimes in the case of Johnny McDonald, he was trying to hit the ball and make it out by hitting the ball to the right side. But I think maybe just the A's playing defensively and having the corner infielders coming in and charging open up a big hole to the right side.
Two and 0 to Aaron Hill. Swing and a miss. Tip, he had a big rip.
Probably have too with a catcher at second base after you're unsuccessful in advancing him to third base, as John McDonald was not able to do. There's no threat of him trying to steal. The guys who are good stolen base threats will attempt to steal if they don't get advanced to third.
Weeks doing his best to hold Aaron Sebia close. He is the go-ahead run, obviously. Just a bit low.
It's up to Jamal Weeks to try to keep Aaron Sebia close, and he's only getting maybe within 10 feet. So if Aaron Sebia was given the green light, he might attempt to steal.
That one bounced in the hole. Pennington has a long throw, and it's a good one, and he gets hit.
Well, it's not impressive to see the strength, the arm strength of Cliff Pennington. Take the ball in the hole and just think catching the ball. He's in the outfield grass and has to make a strong, accurate throw to get a fast runner. And he makes it look easy.
So 2 outs, runner still at second base, and here's Eric Thames. Change up, and it just floats in there first strike.
As hard as Thames has been swinging in this series, swinging against all pitches, that's a good one to throw when he's a first ball fastball hitter.
Big swing and a high fastball, and it's 0-2. Thames, he does like to chase that pitch.
Not even more so at the Coliseum, where he saw his first major league game, even though he came to watch Ken Griffey Jr. But family and friends from the South Bay here, all 4 games watching him, and he's trying to do something every at bat.
So 0-2 to Thames. Popped him up. Suzuki coming back near the on-deck circle, and he's got it. Moscoso gives up the leadoff double, and that double never moved from second base. It's time for the Coors Light Freeze Cam. Coors Light Freeze Cam is brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. It's the world's most refreshing beer. Everybody having a good time at the ballpark today?
Shortstop, number 2.
I guess. No score, bottom of the 6th inning.
Who's that? Oh, is that Shabbat?
Yeah. Bottom 3 in the order for the A's: Pennington, Suzuki, and Sizemore. 15 up, 15 down for Luis Perez.
Bunt. Huh? I'm going to bunt.
Sure.
And I think at this point, John Farrell and Bruce Walton could care less about the pitch count. Kid's perfect.
Yeah,
5 innings.
They're moving around in the bullpen a little bit. Nobody's throwing, but they're see guys starting to stand up, stretch out a little bit. Outside corner, a strike, 2-1. Remember, Perez was a starter in the minor leagues this year.
Well, watching his setup throughout this game, of course, he's pitched out of the windup the entire game, and he's not had a base runner, but very similar to the way Cliff Lee sets up, where he actually looks like he's in the stretch position, but then he winds up. He takes the right leg and goes kind of straight back. And Cliff Lee, pretty good pitcher himself for the left-hander. does the same thing.
So there's a first base runner, and it's a leadoff walk.
Now we'll see how he pitches out of the stretch. So, as the great Hawk Harrelson would say, cancel the press conference. This was Mark Burley, who threw a perfect game. He can say it. He's actually called one. So have we, though, huh? We can say that.
Yes, we have.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dallas Braden.
Right.
So Suzuki steps in.
Again, Bautista in right field playing very shallow. Center and left playing a little bit more deep, but not Bautista. Wow.
A's almost had a runner at third and nobody out.
First pitch out of the stretch is almost down the right field foul line. Encarnacion, a great play, jumping over, straddling with Pennington and the ball from going into foul territory. And had he gotten past him, Penny could have coasted third because Encarnacion would have had to get up off his feet.
Kurt to bunt, and he pushes it foul. Like the bat head almost facing foul territory, right?
Yes. Well, the technique is here, and
well, he jabbed at it.
Jabbed at it because his body is kind of leaning back a little bit.
Run it again. Aaron Sebia throws, and not quite a double play. If it would have been, it would have been one of the all-time greats. Boy, how about John McDonald? A nice play by the catcher and a nice play by the shortstop to get the lead runner.
Kurt Suzuki wanted the ball and almost had to stop a little bit because he did not want the ball to hit him in fair territory. But Aaron Sebia got the ball quickly. And John McDonald, watch this, caught it off the dirt and then flipped by Cliff Pennington, still made the throw. And maybe Pennington upending John McDonald kept it from being a double play, and it would have been an unbelievable double play.
So Sizemore hits.
Now the short hop scoop, and a lot of guys would have been happy just to get the out at second base, and Cliff Pennington sliding through the bag, and he knows what it's like to try to disrupt the middle infielder. Kurt Suzuki busting him down the line to avoid being doubled up.
Changeup down and away to Sizemore, who struck out swinging in the third inning. Casey Jansen has been throwing out in that Blue Jays bullpen. .71 pitches now for Perez. Missed outside, 3-1. So now this inning he's been getting behind the hitters.
What you're talking about with the Blue Jays trying to advance a runner to third, and the A's are trying to do that after getting the first base runner, trying to get one in scoring position. A couple of chances to take the lead. That didn't work out. Now 3-1 count. Maybe put another base runner on.
Sizemore could swing. Fouls it straight back.
Kurt Suzuki's first move was going back to first base after an attempt by the pitcher in his delivery. That's not a good sign.
Stop messing with me.
Yeah, when you get a lead and all of a sudden the pitcher throws the ball to the plate and you're standing on the bag. Kurt just tries to throw out base runners, not necessarily try to be a base stealer.
So 3-2. Suzuki short lead at first. And that one's hit right field side, foul territory, and just back a couple rows. Well, the battle continues. A's are making Perez work here in the 6th inning after he retired the first 15. Another good swing by Sizemore, so he's zeroing in on it.
That great shot of Kurt Suzuki was actually running, but his first move was back to the bag, and then he took off. So
he's getting a running, pushing off first base.
Well, he might as well just stand on the bag. It's Kurt, and of course, there's a case of please make contact because I'm going to be out, or maybe I can
turn around
and head back and beat the throw back.
And that one just missed off the plate. So the A's have a runner in scoring position.
Can't not be missing by much because again, Sebia going to be asked to come out, but Tommy Cam shows.
Ooh.
Whoa.
That's a strike if it's not too high or low.
Well, it's been a strike all day, and it definitely, I don't think, was too high or too low.
Now batting, second baseman, number 19.
Todd Tishner has been pretty consistent with a pitch outside and down and up and inside.
Well, that's a surprise.
Yeah.
The way he's been pumping the right arm today. So here's Weeks, 2 on, 1 out. It's a scoreless game.
And a shallow outfield. And hit a ball on the ground hard between the infielders.
Outside. Perez has been missing just a little bit more here in the 6th inning. There's a base hit center field. Here comes Rasmus. Picks it up. Suzuki will be held at third. So that's the first hit in the game. And it loads the bases.
Well, the defense of Kurt Suzuki, he could not do much more than what he did, and that's to make sure the line drive went through. He had to stay close to the bag because it was a line drive. And with the middle infielders playing close to second for possible double play, ball right back, and from his standpoint, looked like maybe the second baseman is going to be able to catch it. And so held up, and at that point, no chance to score. And so the A's will have to do it with the bases loaded and 1 out.
And Coco Crisp, the hitter.
Playing pinball baseball, station to station to station, and a couple of walks and now base hit.
And Coco takes the first pitch strike.
Coco has hit balls twice on the left side, shortstop and third base. And with no stride in his approach from the right side, top hands the ball, which means he's going to get a lot of balls hit on the ground to the left side.
Coco hits it right at the shortstop to second for 1, and the throw is low, and Encarnacion digs it out. A's do not score. They leave a couple. We're on to the 7th. McDonald's, June 7th, 1981. Check it out, folks. That's Dwayne Murphy. And that's a long one. It's a walk-off home run in the 11th inning right here at the Coliseum.
See the stadium?
Yeah. See Billy Martin at home plate. Now, here's a note, Ray. Dennis Eckersley started that game for the Boston Red Sox. He went 8 2/3 innings. But Tony Armas hit a 2-run homer to tie the game in the 9th inning. So Eck was good with the Red Sox, but could not close it out that day. How about that?
Well, the Murphy's good. I still think one of his best attributes is sitting behind Ricky Henderson and letting him steal all-time record stolen bases. But Moscoso back on the mound, still 0-0.
Bautista, Encarnacion, and Erasmus here in the 7th inning.
That's a third off the mask for Kurt Suzuki.
Hang in there, Kurt. A walk and a pop out to first for Bautista. We were talking about Bautista and how great he is, but he has not done a whole lot of damage to the A's. He has just one career home run against the Athletics. Good take there, and it's 2-2. 85 pitches for Guillermo Moscoso. Full count. Two hits for the Blue Jays, one hit for the Athletics. That one's foul just above us.
That's the all-time record by Bautista. One hitter hitting 2 balls the third day. Same game.
Heard it hit something metal related, I believe.
The camera booth, or the camera well above us.
Two pitches hit hard, but foul, headed down toward the A's bullpen. So good battle here between Bautista and Moscoso. Another foul ball. He's got some fastballs to hit, especially in this at bat, but in this game and really in this series.
They seem Moscoso third time today and seeing a lot of pitches. You're always concerned when you get to the 3-2 that he might get into one.
And this one is just about.
Bill King broadcast booth sign. Hold it, Toledo, right there.
Another 3-2 pitch. And this one's drilled to left. And that baby is gone. Bautista homers, and the Blue Jays have a 1-0 lead.
80-mile-an-hour changeup in just a matter of time. You can see that many pitches, 10th pitch. And that's just how strong he is and how hard he swings.
Well, that shows you how good he is, too. All those fastballs that he's fouling back, and then he hits a changeup out of the ballpark. Very impressive.
Stayed back. Actually, a little bit out on the front foot, but Moscoso just tried to change it up a little bit, and No doubt.
Well, here's Encarnacion. So Bautista had been tied. Granderson homered earlier today, so they were tied at 35. Now Bautista with 36.
The A's go from having the bases loaded and 1 out, a chance to put a run or some runs on the board in the bottom half of the inning. Red Cecil had to be thinking the same thing on Friday night. When he had the bases loaded first inning, nobody out. He went to the mound with no runs thanks to Rich Harden getting out of that inning. But it's got to be disappointing for a pitcher to think you're sitting on the bench and going to have some run support and then go back out with nothing.
Even one, right?
And Moscoso pitched too well in this game for 6 innings to come out in the 7th and still be in a scoreless game.
1-2 to Encarnacion, who's 0 for 2. Pennington gets a nice hop, and that's out number 1. A changeup. Just a changeup. Reached a little bit.
He's running hard, thinking it's not going out, but that was a line drive right over the out-of-town scoreboard. 2 rows deep.
He can do that. Rasmus pops it up, and that'll be back into the seats directly behind home plate. A 1-2 Rasmus. Fouls it straight back. So Rasmus 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts. That's Casey Jansen, who was up last inning, and he's ready to roll, and he's warming up like he's coming in the game, and I'm sure that he is. Sizemore, foul territory. He got a beat on this one, and he makes the catch. 2 outs.
Suzuki, a good job going close to Sizemore in the case he could not find it, and Kirk might have had a better angle fighting the sun.
Brett Laurie.
So here's Brett Laurie. Scouting report.
Scouting report said see ball, hit ball.
And fight the sun, which Coco Crisp is doing, and he hangs in there. He makes the catch. Jose Bautista, home run number 36, gives the Blue Jays the 1-0 lead. and that's the only run in this game. 1-0. When it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up. Your oil change, tune-up, and smog experts. Casey Jansen comes in. Nice year for the right-hander. He's down 1-0. Luis Perez, the story so far. Moscoso pitched terrific. One mistake. And Perez, the starter for the Blue Jays, 6 shutout innings. What was the total pitch count on Perez? 80. 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, so he was very good. Matsui with a ground out and a strikeout, and that pitch right there, 1-2. Strike 3 call. Stayed right there with a fastball, and he got the call. So 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th.
Now right over the top with a good fastball, 4-seamer on the corner, and not much you could do about that. So Hideki Matsui reading the scouting reports, and that was a strike, and the one to Sizemore last inning, similar but to the other side, called the ball. This one maybe looked like it was a ball off the plate, but called a strike.
So Willingham hits, takes a pitch outside. Fly ball and a ground out for Willingham. .22 home runs, 73 RBIs for Willingham. Inside corner strike, 1-1. The Willingham fan club back tonight. Why not? He's homered in 2 straight games, right?
Those 2 coming against lefties, so I'd like to start evening up. 12 of 22 against left-handers, 10 of course against the right-handers. Brandon Allen still looking for his first. He'd just like to get a hit with runners in scoring position. They've not had opportunities today, and when they did, it didn't work out.
So 3-1 to Willingham.
Well, Bobby Lewis gave this up, and he knew it. 10-pitch at bat for Josh Willingham. And went to Francesco's on his behalf last night.
You did? Just missed this one. Thames, shades are on. He's got it. 2 outs. How was it?
It's all as Cliff Clavin said, "You've been going there," or Matt Weiss, I think. Have you gone there much? 41 years. That's good to say. 40, because they've only been there 40. Just got under it. The fastball from Jansen on the 3-1, and Josh knew he just missed it. Last night he hit a similar pitch for a home run. Didn't look until he saw how deep it went, but this time knew he had missed it, and he just hopes to get the hit again. The way the A's have been retired in order, the A's will have to get some base runners for Willingham to come up in the 9th inning.
First pitch to Allen. Big swing and a miss. How was that Francesco's on Friday? A's Booster Club luncheon?
Bet you were a star, weren't you?
I answered questions about you the whole time. Yeah. What a great group of people. We had a lot of fun. Eric Sogard was there.
They had their meeting, the Boosters Club, at the great Francesco's, the back room.
It was fun. Good food, good people.
See, I've been there as a player way back when, and then as a broadcaster way back when, and I have not made it back, so it's nice of you to go.
I went on behalf of you. How about that? Because we are a team. 1-2 to Brandon Allen. Allen hit a ball very hard in the 5th inning. Line drive to right field that Bautista went back and made a nice play on. That's been a strike a couple times today. So 2-2 to Allen. Hard breaking ball, and Allen takes it. So a full count. If Brandon can get aboard, Connor Jackson would hit. Inside, he walked it. Couple of pitches on the inner half. Allen doesn't chase.
A little cut fastball he did not offer, as confirmed by the veteran crew chief Jerry Davis, the third base umpire. Not even close.
Now batting, right fielder, number 28, Connor Jackson.
So Jackson steps in. Third walk the A's have received. Perez with a couple, now Jansen with one. Strike on the outside corner to Connor Jackson, who has grounded out and struck out. Late time call. Saw it last night.
Well, that time Jansen held the ball so long that it was just a matter of time before time was called and granted.
Inside corner strike. 0-2. Casey Jansen checks Allen at first. And Ray, I think you agree with me, but we're talking about the strike zone from Todd Tishner. Hitters may not be crazy about it, but I'd rather have a strike zone like that than a real tight one. Would you agree?
Absolutely. I mean, it does force the hitters to swing, and the whole idea of the pace of the game, and umpire calls a lot of close pitches balls, then the game is going to be slowed down. Force them to swing the bat, speeds it up.
Jackson swings at a pitch in the dirt. Couple of strikeouts for Casey Jansen. So we're through 7. 1-0 Blue Jays. California is brought to you by Cash Creek's Money Tree. Win $500 cash every hour from noon until 11 p.m. Visit cashcreek.com for details. Top of the 8th inning, 1-0. The Blue Jays lead on a Jose Bautista home run. It was his 36th of the year. Martihan leading things off. So Moscoso's been very good today. He's got 6 strikeouts. He's allowed just 3 hits, but he hung a changeup to Bautista. Martihan hits one to center field. Coco fighting it, and he's got it. They get that glove up. Sometimes maybe even go off to the side a little bit to help them fight the sun.
All he has to do is put up the glove. Then Pennington, shortstop, runs out. Right fielder Connor Jackson came over, but Coco able to handle it.
He knew how to do it.
No, I guarantee he wore the flip down sunglasses too. If his hat ever stayed on.
So 1 out here in the top of the 8th inning, and Aaron Sebia will hit. Ray, the Rangers lost again today. White Sox shut out Texas 10-0. So the White Sox take 2 out of 3 from Texas. Floyd over Holland today. And the other part of that story is the Angels are about to wrap up a win over the Orioles. They're leading 7-1 in the 9th inning. So if the Angels win that game, Texas has lost. The lead will be 4.
Exactly where it was when the Rangers went into town, into Angel Stadium.
Yeah.
Angels able to salvage 1 game of that series after the Rangers swept the Athletics here.
Sizemore's under it. He's got it, 2 outs. But you remember, Ray, that series, Texas won the first 3, and they were about to win game 4. Trumbo hit a home run to win it in the bottom of the 9th inning. So they won on Thursday, and now they're about to sweep the Orioles to give them 4 consecutive wins. So just when you think maybe Texas is putting a stranglehold on the division, now it's back to, it will be a 4-game lead. So that baby is not over yet. The Rangers will, after losing today, they will go home for a 10-game homestand. It'll be 4 against Boston starting tomorrow night. So that'll be a terrific series. The Rangers and the Red Sox. And then the Angels. And then the Rays for 3. So it will be the Angels at the Rangers next weekend. McDonald goes around. The Yankees won today 3-0. Nova over Dumitrate. They beat the Twins. That Granderson home run was an inside the park home run. 0-1 pitches bunted foul. And the Red Sox won. Red Sox beat Kansas City 6-1.
What are the odds of back-to-back days of which an inside the park home run have been hit?
That's right.
Houston Astros last night. Granderson today. Brandon Allen had.
He had it.
I think he still was.
Ray Fosse's scorebook says it. It's all that matters. Right there, strike 3 called. That is strikeout number 7 for Moscoso. A's trailing 1-0. We are headed to the bottom of the 8th inning. Here's our game summary. It's brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. A lot of pitching in this series. Today, no different. 1-3-0 for Toronto. 0-1-0 for the Athletics. The only hit, Jamal Weeks single. The only run, Bautista's 36th home run of the year. So Casey Janssen out for his second inning of work. He walked one and struck out a couple in the 7th. He faces Pennington, Suzuki, and Sizemore here in the 8th. The Angels did finish off that win. 7-1 is the final down in Anaheim. So that is a 3-game sweep and the 4th straight win for the Angels. Remember Jerome Williams pitched for the Giants for a little while? He's been out of the big leagues for a long time. I don't even know where he's been the last 4 or 5 years. Actually, I think he was with the A's in spring training but he got the win today in a start for the Angels.
And they had a couple of rookies start against the Rangers in a critical 4-game series, and that didn't pan out.
Inside to Pennington. The Tigers sweep the Indians. Well, that's a big series. Detroit beats Cleveland today 8-7. Finishes off the 3-game sweep, and Tigers lead is now 4.5 over Cleveland. Detroit 8-7. Waldo Jimenez got knocked around big time today. Detroit was leading 7-0 in that game. The Indians came back but came up short. Outside corner at the knee, strike 3 called.
Well, now you're starting to hear something from the A's dugout. Heights-wise, looked pretty good. And called by Todd Tischner, as he has done throughout the day. 4 strikeouts by Perez in his 6 innings, now 3 by Jansen. And I guess you could say early in the game, 0-0 game, not much was said, but Tischner has been pretty consistent calling strikes. Anything close, he's going to call it.
And today would be the day to be ready to swing. One to Suzuki, who has fouled out and reached on a fielder's choice. The Rays beat the Mariners today 8-7 on a Johnny Damon walk-off home run. Mariners had a 4-0 lead in that game. Rays are playing good baseball. That's their 5th consecutive win. Seattle going in the opposite direction. That's their 5th consecutive loss. Closer Frank Francisco for the Blue Jays. The Yankees still with the half-game lead over Boston, 8-game lead over the Rays in the AL East. Red hot Milwaukee Brewers won again in the National League. They won 6-2. Cardinals play tonight. So that is now a 9-game lead for the Brew Crew in the National League Central. Swing and a miss. Off speed pitch. That's 4 strikeouts for Casey Janssen. A's Baseball on Comcast Sportsnet California is brought to you by Roaring Camp Railroads. Whether it's the steam train through the Redwood Forest or the beach train to Santa Cruz, Roaring Camp is the ride of a lifetime. RoaringCamp.com.
Number 15, Ryan Sweeney.
We're going to get a pinch hitter for the A's. It's going to be Ryan Sweeney.
Well, just one hit. Von Milton's got to try to pull out all stops and make some changes now that the right-hander's in the lineup. That's not an all left-handed hitting lineup, including 4 switch hitters. Thanks to David Feldman for that note about 1940, the last time that happened, all lefties, but it helped the A's win. course, a little bit later when a lefty was brought in by John Farrell and Josh Willingham pinch hit a home run.
Inside corner strike to Sweeney. Sweeney is 4 for 13 as a pinch hitter. He has the most at-bats as a pinch hitter for the Athletics. Broken bat. It's a big-time broken bat.
The good news is it went foul territory. Handle in his hand, bat went farther than the ball, but that's good. It was a foul ball.
So Jansen is ahead 1-2. He's been impressive today. Way outside. 2-2 the count. Foul for De Los Santos out in the A's bullpen. All stays fair. Encarnacion picks it up, steps on the bag side, retired. So Casey Jansen, 2 good innings of work. 9th inning coming up.
On Comcast Sportsnet California is brought to you by Xfinity, home of the most live sports, and by Chevrolet. Go to ChevyBaseball.com to support youth baseball and help make a moment kids will never forget.
One to nothing. The Blue Jays lead. Eric Sogard takes over at third base. And it's time for change. Think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up. Your oil change, tune-up, and smog experts as Faustino De Los Santos comes in. It's the first time we've seen De Los Santos in this series. Aaron Hill, the leadoff man, is 1 for 3. He had a base hit to lead off the game. He has also hit a fly ball to right field and a ground ball to short. And he's behind in the count 0-2. slowly hit up the middle, right near the bag at second. Weeks' throw is just in time to get hit.
Time now for the forward right choice as John Farrell argues the play. Guillermo Moscoso, an outstanding job as it went 8 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, just a walk, and 7 strikeouts. And after giving up the home run to Bautista on a 3-2 changeup, 10th pitch to him, he retired the last 6 batters. Unfortunately, the A's could not score at least a run. Pitcher of record, and unfortunately, but it's a nice ovation. John Farrell continues to argue the play at first base, and Thames in the batter's box ready to hit, but Jamal Weeks, quick throw, nice stretch by Allen at first base, and probably safe, but it's a play that was called by Mike Estabrook. And Aaron Hill thought he was safe, John Farrell also, and that's the argument that's ensuing right now. What a great job by Moscoso. And he had the leadoff double in the 6th inning, but got the next 3 batters.
Now batting,
home run by Bautista.
Eric Thames.
The A's in the previous inning had a chance in the 7th inning, 6th inning to score, but could not against Perez. Bases loaded. He got the double play ground ball.
Swing and a miss. Big swing by Eric Thames. 0 for 3 in the game. Brandon Allen charges. He's right by the bag. 2 outs.
Time now for the Fremont Bay play of the game so far. We hope it changes. The bottom of the 9th inning, we'll do a second one, but a change up from Moscoso to Bautista, and just like that, a great outing, at least to this point, soured with that home run, the 36th by Bautista, as he waits on the pitch from De Los Santos now.
Breaking ball and a good one.
You'd like to hope the A's can at least tie the game and take Moscoso off the hook, because he's pitched too brilliantly today to even consider a loss. But right now, that's the way it stands.
Driven to center. Coco's going back, shading his eyes, can't find it, and it bounces over his head. Bautista's going to try for third, and he is going to make it. So Crisp lost it in the sun. It bounced just over his head, and it goes as a triple for Bautista. So that kind of day, folks. It's tough. Every ball that goes up in the air.
Crisp with the glove and then hands. Didn't see it. Never came out of the sun. Almost hit it.
Now batting, number 10.
Probably glad it didn't hit him for a number of reasons, but the most important reason that probably would have carried him far enough away that Bautista might have gotten an inside the park home run, especially off his left knee. Did spin, hit off the warning track, and then the wall came back.
So that's the 4th hit for the Jays. Encarnacion waves at a pitch way outside. 0-2.
De Los Santos has found a home.
That's Frank Francisco. He's the closer for the Blue Jays. That hard slider again. Encarnacion does not chase this time.
Well, after the Monday night against the Orioles, De Los Santos came in and gave up a couple of hits with the bases loaded in Gio Gonzalez game. That changed. And has changed since then, especially Wednesday afternoon, 1st and 3rd, and got out of a tough jam. Nobody out.
Brandon Allen racing into foul territory, and he cannot quite get it.
He didn't see that either.
Nope.
If he had seen it, he probably at least would have made a diving attempt, because the ball dropped at his foot. But as he was running after it, just right there, probably looked right up in the sun, didn't see it as it was right there. Just maybe put the glove out, didn't have to go into a dive.
So Encarnacion's going to get another chance. A's off the high fastball. 2-2 the count.
Yeah, there's some players I think that do not like to wear sunglasses to be able to try to see and look through the sunglasses, and I think Allen's maybe one of those guys because the sunglasses is still on his cap.
That one is fair. Allen dives. He's got it. Throws to De Los Santos, and they got Encarnacion for the third out. Encarnacion whips his helmet. It spins all the way toward the dugout. 1-0. We're headed to the bottom of the ninth inning. Top of the order for the A's here in the bottom of the ninth, trailing 1-0. Casey Janssen, who has been very good, stays out there. We saw Francisco warm up a little bit, but Janssen into his third inning of work.
Well, maybe his hand in his head was more of a headache instead of praying. So maybe that's the reason he didn't come in. Yeah, Janssen, his 37th pitch he just threw, and good strike.
Janssen has 4 strikeouts in his 2 innings of work.
Well, Allen, a tremendous play diving into foul territory and then up to his knees and throwing out Encarnacion. Great covering by De Los Santos. Perfect feed by Allen to get the very frustrated Encarnacion. Brandon Allen has done a very good job defensively. Today had a line drive that was caught by Bautista.
Weeks will be followed by Crisp and then Matsui. Fastball is outside. Weeks' base hit came in the 6th inning. Close pitch, and it's 3-2. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. He stayed on the outer half with the fastball, and Weeks strikes out. So that is 5 strikeouts for Casey Janssen.
Tailing fastball a little bit away from Jamal Wigson. Maybe a too long of a swing on the 3-2 count. A little long and could not catch up to the 91-mile-an-hour fastball.
So 1 out, and here's Coco Crisp. Good breaking ball in for a strike. Coco Crisp is 0 for 3. He's grounded out 3 times, once into a double play. Jansen is just pumping strikes in there now as it's the 0-2 count. Kemp is the right-hander. Will Ledesma, the left-hander. Liner, Laurie has it, and that's out number 2. Down to 1 knee to make the play. So Crisp is 0 for 4, and here's Matsui. So he can get a hold of one.
A good idea by Coco after a couple of strikes, but already off the bag at third base enough that with the ball kind of slicing back to him. Defensive alignment is one of the most important things of the game.
Here's Matsui, and he rolls it foul.
Raleigh fingers, that's right, Tommy. That's a 3-inning save attempt by Jansen. Raleigh used to do that pretty consistently. And this is probably more of a necessity than anything. Jansen pitching well has given up just a walk in his 3 innings, or 2 2/3 innings.
Matsui 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. Takes the fastball up and away.
Matsui was the first batter faced by Jansen, struck him out, called 3rd strike.
Jansen has 1 save this year. He's got 8 saves in his career. Now he's ahead in the count, 1-2. Would be nice to get Willingham in at bat here in the 9th inning. Pitch number 48 for Casey Jansen out of the bullpen.
Five hits total in the game. 4 by the Blue Jays, 1 by the Athletics.
Way inside. Matsui almost got hit by that pitch. So 2-2 the count. Bautista with the solo home run, and that was in the 7th inning. Grounded left side. Laurie cuts in front and throws out Matsui, and that's the ball game. Casey Jansen, a 3-inning save, and the A's are shut out for a league high 13th time this season. So the Blue Jays get the win this afternoon, 1-0, and it is a series split, and it is a season series split for these two teams. So lots of good pitching in this series today. It belonged to both teams, but the Blue Jays get the home run from their superstar Jose Bautista. 1-0 is the final. Don't go away. A's Post Game Live with Jim Kozimor and Fernando Vina starts right now.